How's
Man,
Caleb?
good.
How's
I
everything?
spoke with him briefly on my way from the airport.
Okay. And
Nothing,
what y'all
just a
speak
fight,
about?
man. And I just told him I was proud of him, man. I told him I was proud of him, man. I told him he was my hero, man. He went. You ever see the movie Fight Club? It's a movie called Fight Club, and
Mm-hmm.
Brad Pitt talked about going to the burger. He went to the burger, man. He's like, you go
Yeah,
to the ground
yeah.
beef, man, and he went to the burger, man. So I ain't you know. I just told him, I'm proud of him. That's it.
Yeah, he
Hey
definitely got
man,
nothing to be ashamed about. I mean, you guys like
hey
beautiful
man, listen.
performance.
Not a lot of guys taking them kind of fights, man. I'm just telling you. I know a lot of people in boxing, and a lot of guys take a whole lot of um, generic fights. That's a real fight, man, that he does not have to take. He's already a millionaire. Already made 10 million to fight Canelo. He did not have to take that fight. Trust me. We could have took we could milk this thing, bro. We can. Like, I'm just being honest. We could milk it, and he took on a young, undefeated killer, and he stood up, man. So I don't have no um I don't I don't have nothing to say.
I mean, walk me down to round one to round 12. I mean, you guys had a beautiful display of boxing from round one to five. What started the fatigueness on round six?
Um like, you gotta give David credit. That's a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like, people keep talking about Caleb wasn't in shape. He you can't not be in shape in the last 12 rounds with David Benavidez. You know what I mean? You just can't. So, like, let's see somebody else last 12 rounds. That's all. That's all. Let's just see another guy
Mm-hmm.
last 12 rounds. Let's see another guy last 12 rounds and try to win. That's it. And then we'll talk about whether he was in shape or not. You're gonna get tired in the fight. You get ups and downs. Listen to this. You know why I didn't stop the fight? Because David was tired. If he wasn't tired, he would have finished him. He was
Mm-hmm.
tired. He was fatigued. He was fatigued too. It's a hard fight. You get tired. It's part of boxing. If you moving like that, you taking them kind of punches. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot to go into that. Jokers run their mouth and they can't fight 30 seconds in the street. They can't. They can't fight 30 seconds in the street and they talking. You think you don't get tired? You get tired in those kind of fights. You know what I'm saying? Like, Caleb was in shape. He did the best he could for you know for the circumstances. Just that simple. For the guys that want to talk about getting tired, let David fight David, and then tell me if you're gonna get tired. That's it. For everybody that got something to say like that, like, fight somebody to put that kind of pressure on you, come downhill that big, that strong, and you see if you get tired or not.
So was that why, when you sensed tiredness and fatigueness from David, is that the reason why you went into the corner and said, go out there and knock him out, giving
Um,
him that confidence?
at that time, you just trying to inspire your guy. You know what I mean? You try to inspire your guy, and I can't remember everything I said between every round. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? I really can't remember everything I said, but I seen him get hit with a shot, and I was like, "Yo, man, he got." I seen him get hurt a little bit, and then I seen him kind of like you wobble a little bit. Then I was looking, and I'm like, "Damn, man, you know what? David a little bit tired too." And it's funny because I had a conversation with Ronnie Shields when the fight first got made back in November, and me and Ronnie was talking, and he was like, "Hey, Brad, David get tired. He just throw a lot of punches, but he get tired too." And I heard, as weird as this may sound, all the people that were screaming behind us, I heard Jamal Charlo like, "Brad, man, don't stop it. He gonna be all right." It was weird. I can't believe I heard his voice. I looked right around and I seen him. And I was thinking to myself, like, damn, you know what? David tired too. Now, Jamal didn't say that what Ronnie said. He just said, breadman, don't stop it. But I thought about Ronnie saying to me, he's like, look at him close. He get tired. He just don't stop throwing punches. And, um, and I was like, damn, you know what? If David was tired, he'd be able to put more. If David wasn't tired, he would have been able to put more stuff together. So I let him rock. And it was an instinct call. And it wasn't um, it was just my instinct. I just said, let him go. You know what I mean? And he was all right. He finished the fight.
When we talk about the referee Kenny, and Caleb Plant, do you think he did a good job clinching? At the times that he's did, there was a little bit of an excessive clinching, but obviously it's part of the game. You know, sometimes I talked to James Toney. James Toney mentioned he's like, if you're gonna clinch, make sure you clinch all the way. Clinch like firm. What do you think? What do you have to say for like
Um,
people that mention those type
well,
of comments?
well, first of
And about the
all, James
referee?
Toney is right. You got to clinch correctly. You can't just clinch. You got to clinch correctly. So he's right with that. Caleb, he's learning how to clinch a little bit better. You know what I mean? But it's something that he needs to work on, And trust me, bro, I worked on it. But under the gun is different. He did the best he could to survive, and that's what he did. Um, uh, as far as the people complaining about um, Caleb Holden, when Julian got hit by Jamal Charlo, right, with that big uppercut many years ago, you know
Yeah,
what people said to me? Why didn't he
right.
hold? Got hurt. So funny that now the guy tie a guy up. You know what they say? Why was he holding? It's funny. It's funny. I literally got that criticism. Why you ain't teach him how to hold? Yeah, well, we did teach him how to hold. Maybe his head was spinning. Maybe his head was spinning. Maybe he was dizzy. That's why he didn't hold. So now I got a guy that survived and tied the guy up. And now they say, well, why did he hold so much? I'm telling you, man, I don't care who take offense to this. It was a hard fight. It was a grudge match. Both guys did a lot of dirty stuff. They was hitting each other low. Caleb got knots on the back of his head. It was headbutts. It was elbows. It was a lot of stuff that was done from both guys. We didn't do too much complaining. And all they talk about is the holding. You know why they talk about the holding? Because they wanted to see him get stopped. Because holding wouldn't have
Correct.
been, if you rooting for Floyd Mayweather, then, and you watching Ty Maidana up, it's called tying up. If you're a Bernard Hopkins fan and he tie a guy up, it's called being crafty and tying him up. But Caleb Plant tying up David Benavidez, he holding too much because you want to see him get knocked out. If you're a Caleb Plant fan and you want to see him win the fight, you're not going to say he holding. You're going to say he's surviving, doing what he can to get to the next point of the fight. It's funny because they want to see him lose. They want to see the guy lose, and then, they want to complain about holding. Well, what would you rather do? Talk about holding, or tell me which one worse? Holding or getting punched in the back of your head? Holding or getting punched in your nuts? Now listen, Caleb punched him in the nuts too. It's part of the game. They both was hitting each other low. But is holding worse than getting punched in your nuts? One time, David hit Caleb in his back, not on the side, in his back. He was moving away towards David Coyne, hitting right in his back. I'm like, all right. You know what I tell my guys when somebody do something to them? Don't do it back. Do it right back. It's part of the game. He hit you low, hit him low. Hit you in the back of the head, hit him in the back of the head. You know what I mean? It's part of it. I never call David a dirty fighter because he's a dog. He's an animal. I respect him. He's an animal. He did what he do. Those elbows, that's what you're supposed to do if a guy holds you. Throw your elbows. That's cool. Caleb should have hit him with an elbow. I'm not complaining about that. It's all part of the game. But I keep hearing all of this stuff about this holding, and I'm like, y'all wanted to see him lose. That's the only reason why you're complaining about the holding, because they was both doing all kinds of dirty stuff to each other. That wasn't the only thing. Caleb got a freaking gash in his head from a headbutt and an elbow. Like, that's cool. All right. That's part of the game. Let's keep going. How did he got knots on the back of his head like the size of golf balls. How did they get there? All right. You know, so it's just.
Do you think the referee played in your favor more?
I think the
or his favor more,
referee did the best job he could. Mr. Bayless is a kind of an older guy, you know what I'm saying? And he's just an older guy, and you know, he did the best he could. You know, I'm not complaining about the referee. Like I could complain about the scorecards. There's no way he only won 3 rounds. I can say that. I ain't complaining. There's no way that kid won 3 rounds. Lost the fight. That's cool. There's no way in the world he only won 3 rounds. People that don't even like me or him, you can't go back at what you said on social media. It's like, damn, he swept the first 5 or 6 rounds. Then when you start coming on,
right?
Then you hear 117, 111, and then you like, wow, damn, how did that get there?
Well, the scorecard was
I don't care about the rest of the fights. I'm talking about my fight, my guy's fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And because there's always different judges for different fights. So, but the scorecard, you know, he 9-3 was not the fight that I saw. You know what I mean?
Did you see 5 rounds?
5-7 was
5-7
fair. I could live with 5-7. But let me tell you something funny. Yeah. Caleb might have hustled and won the 12th round. He had a good 12th round. Just watch the fight. I think that the momentum that David had kind of made it, the momentum he had kind of made things like sometimes people score momentum, but rounds are supposed to be scored 1 by 1. You know what I mean? So that's what happens with that. But man, it's part of the game. Like, you know, you gotta you deal with it, and I keep the same energy all the time, man. You know what I mean? Like, I never had anything bad to say about David before the fight and not after the fight. Like, I told him straight up, like, you're a great fighter. He hugged me in the ring. He apologized because he know, like, I'm just a trainer. You know what I mean? I don't, you know, I'm not gonna be sitting around arguing with nobody young enough to be my son. But you know, we did the best we could, man. And Caleb is a dog, man. And I really believe that all the criticism he got for the Canelo fight, you know, brought this performance out of him. I don't believe he wanted to go out like that. I believe that he wanted to give more of himself. He gave everything he had. And that's all you can ask of a guy. Everybody always criticize and say, well, you should have did this, you should have did that. Most of these guys jumping on here, I don't read the comments. They can't even get in the street fights. You know what I'm saying? And you know, boxing don't work that way. It's not a video game, man. You know what I mean? It's not, why didn't you do that? And why didn't you Why didn't he inside fight? And why didn't he do this? And why didn't he do that? It's not that simple. You know what I'm saying? You under the gun versus a killer. You know what I'm saying? You under the gun versus a killer who's better than you in certain areas. So you do what you can. You know what I mean? And I thought Caleb did a great job. I thought his jab was working. He was killing him. But the jab to the body, his feet was working. I thought he did a great job, man. I thought he did the best he could under those circumstances. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you know, people criticize. I just be like, you know, all right, let's see what y'all do when y'all get to that moment. You know what I mean? Because I know the kid gave all of himself. And when the kid give you everything, that's all you can ask for. You just got to tip your hat and be like, look, other guy was a little bit better tonight. And I shook Mr. Benavidez's hand. I shook David's hand, gave David a hug. And that was just that, you know? And you gotta just do it like that. There's nothing else you could do.
We got here my man Zab Judah, Mr. Undisputed, welterweight. He was also at the fights. So yeah, I mean, I remember, you know, we had a discussion and we talked about, you know, that Caleb had to bring in what Tyrone Davis brought to the table, the balls. He had to come in there. And, you know, when we talked about that, because you can prepare, and we also said that, you know, it's about the fighter to execute the plan. Do you believe that, you know, Caleb Plant stood in there and did just that? I mean, when we talked about some other critics as far as like, you know, guys like Shakur Stevenson, they liked his performance, but they also said, you know what, they would have liked to see a little bit more body work when, David Benavidez put his high guard up. He just had that little split second to, you know, throw a little bit down low and get out of there. What are your
I think
beliefs
he
on
did
that?
the best he could. I'm just being honest. I think he did body work. I think the jab to the body landed more than anything did. I
Yeah.
think he did real good body work. I think he was jabbing to the body. Sometimes it's easier to throw straight shots to the body than it is the big hooks. So Caleb was landing the jab to the body. He was landing straight right hand to the body. He tried to put in a couple of little left hooks to the body. He was landing stuff to the body. He was doing the best he could, man. You got to understand there's another guy in there doing something about it. You know what I mean? You got a big joker in there trying to knock your head off, so he can't just go down there recklessly. You know what I mean? He did the best he could. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying he fought the perfect fight. What I'm saying is he did the best he could.
Yeah.
Anybody can always be like, well, you should have did this. You shouldn't have did that. You shouldn't have tied up. You shouldn't have did that. You shouldn't have did this. He did the best he could on that night. Caleb Plant is not really an inside fighter. So people keep telling me, well, he should have fought inside. He should have did this. Well, if he would have tried to fight David inside, he probably would have got stopped. You know what I'm saying? He might have got stopped. So he did the best he could. We worked on it in the gym. We worked on it in the gym. But guess what? The sparring partner ain't as good as David, so it's a different ball game. You know what I mean? And listen, these dudes talk this shit all they want. Sometimes you gotta tie up if you hurt. That's part of the game. Like, I don't understand that. Like, people, this guy right here, no, he's 5-6-time world champion. If you get buzzed, you're gonna tie up.
To me, Kevin Plant, you know, he was smart. You know, he knew that, you know, the only way to, you know, what I thought was it was a strategy you guys came up with was to keep the jab out there, pull with it, hit him quickly, and tie him up. Well, I thought you guys were gonna do that for the first 6 rounds and then like go for the kill, you know, later on. But I see that Benavidez was strong. He was strong. He kept coming, and he was coming like a damn a freight train. You know what I mean? But Caleb
You know
tried.
what, that we tried to implement the game plan the best we could. We wanted to keep him in the center of the ring and keep him off the ropes and keep Caleb from taking too much punishment because I knew what was going. Like, I knew he was going to be coming down the stretch.
Right.
We worked on inside fighting and we worked on tying him up. We worked on tying him up a lot. I ain't gonna lie, because that's how you stop a dude from rolling you over. Ali, Floyd, all the best great boxers tie him up. So We was trying, but what happened is, I don't know if y'all seen it. David hurt Caleb with a body shot, and they kind of changed the momentum of the fight. He got one right to the liver, man.
That,
And,
that,
Yeah, we
yeah, it
heard
was a
David
nasty
talk about
body shot, and it really damaged him. And it took him a little bit to, you know, get himself together. He took it, but it was a tough shot, man. And he you know what,
round was
man? I
that?
can't remember all the rounds exactly. I ain't gonna lie to you because a lot is going on in the fight. But it was somewhere in the mid part of the fight. David landed a real good body shot, man, and it kind of changed the projection of the fight. And when you get hit with them shots, they stick with you for a little while. You know what I
long
mean? But
time.
like I said, man, I could remember Zab. I watched probably 30 of Zab fights. Mickey wore his Zab with a body shot one time, man. And Zab did like this.
We
And
talked
he
about it.
didn't go down, but it stuck with him. I go back far. That was a nasty shot. Zab won the fight, and people probably don't remember because he outboxed Mickey Ward every round. But that was a nasty shot. David hit Caleb with that shot, and it took some of his strength and energy out of him, man. You know, so for this kid to finish the fight, because I don't care what nobody say, I thought he won the 12th round. He was rumbling in the 12th round, man. He bit down and made a stand. You know, like I said, he did the best he could, you know, and people can say whatever they want, but the kid did the best he could under those circumstances. It's just that simple. And you got to tip your hat to David Benavidez. He a dog. You know what I mean? He a dog and he a hell of a fighter. And, you know, that's just that, man. It's part of the game.
Right. Now, you know, I remember you was mentioning also in the corner, heart rate, Caleb, heart rate. You seen him, you're probably seen his chest go on a little bit like that. Do you think that, the conditioning was there, but the moment, dealing with the moment
No,
was kind of the struggle?
I think that he was in great shape. We sparred a lot of rounds. We did a lot. He had to be in great shape to finish this fight, first of all. For people that's questioning his conditioning, you don't get hit with them kind of shots and finish the fight without being in great shape. I think that the heart rate thing that was just me telling them, keep your heart rate down. Don't get so excited. Because sometimes when you get excited, it burns you out. So it was just telling me to stay calm, keep your heart rate down. It was just something that we went over in camp, that when you get real excited like that and you start, there's so much pressure be on you in the moment and adrenaline, it can make you fatigued. So I kept telling them, keep your heart rate down, stay calm, because when you get excited, that's when you get tired. Zab knows that. So you try to tell them to stay calm. Don't panic under the pressure. So that's just us talking to him over and over in the gym, like, listen, you're going to be a lot of pressure in this fight. You got to stay calm when he go to push like that. So that was just me reminding him of something that we worked on in camp, to stay calm under all that pressure that David put on you. Because David, he the kind of guy, he just don't beat you up physically. Mentally, he breaks you with all of the pressure.
Yeah.
So I was just, you know, that's how Caleb was able to finish the fight. You got to stay calm. And that was just me reminding him of that.
Mm-hmm. Good job.
Right. So, there's always something that, you can take back from a fight and say, I want to be able to bring it back on in the lab and be able to tweak a little bit. What are some of those things? And that question's for both of you guys. I know Zab is a big fan and a great knowledge in this when it comes down to boxing. So, I mean, what would you guys like to see Caleb Plant add to his arsenal? And
I think that as his trainer, I would like to see him inside fight a little bit more.
Yeah.
But you got to understand something. Caleb learned how to fight in Nashville, Tennessee. He didn't learn how to fight in Brooklyn, Philadelphia, or Detroit. So that stuff takes time.
Yeah.
You're just not going to just get that down, oh, shit, let's inside fight. James Toney, bro, he 1-on-1. He the best. You think he was able to do that overnight? You know what I mean? It don't work that way. You know what I'm saying? Chavez, that's not something that you just pick up overnight. You know what I mean? So obviously he got to work on his inside game. But like when you learn this stuff, man, you got to learn at your own speed. Everybody don't learn the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just don't learn the same way, man. Everybody learns at a different rate. So yeah, he could work on his inside game. Listen, we might fight him in a rematch. So I'm not going to say too much. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no fighter's perfect. But guess what? Can I tell y'all something? David got stuff to work on too.
Yeah,
There's a lot of stuff we did to him, but don't nobody want to say that because they always want to say it on the other side. Bro, Caleb was lighting him up, bro. He got stuff to work on, and both of them got stuff to work on. It ain't no one-way street. As a trainer, and training fighters, it's always things that a guy could do to get better. It's always stuff you could improve on. Even a great legend, Hall of Famer, is always something you can improve on and get better. So of course, Caleb got stuff to improve on. But for that night, he did the best he could. You know, and people got to respect that. He did the best he could. He didn't quit. He didn't lay down. He fought to the end. He tried to win. He tried to execute the game plan as much as he could. Somebody said to me, well, he didn't listen. I said, he listened to me. He did the best he could in that moment. You know what I'm saying? He trying to survive. He getting hit. He cut. He dizzy. All kind of stuff is happening. He did the best he could. And that's just that. Everybody's a super critic, man. You know what I'm saying? Until it's time for them to get in there. Zab, they don't know what it's like to be fighting on this level. That's like somebody telling you, yeah, why you ain't do this with Floyd? Or why you ain't do this with this guy? It's the highest level of boxing. You can't win all of those fights. It's hard.
They do tell me
You know
that.
what I mean? But yeah, so, you know, I'm proud of Caleb. They can say what they want. They can nitpicking. I'm proud of the kid. I love the kid. And I told him so, man. He inspired me, man. The way he came out that 12th round. And I asked him, did he want to finish? He was like, yes, let's go. He was fighting to the death that night, man. And I'm proud of him, man. You know, and like I said, I'm going to say it again. Anybody got a problem with the holding wanted to see him get stopped. They wanted to see him get stopped because it was a bunch of fouls in that fight. It wasn't just holding. It wasn't just no holding, man. It wasn't. So, you know, whatever.
Zab, what would you like to see Caleb do? You know, what would you like to see? Some type of adjustment that you would like to see if you make the rematch
inside
happen.
fighting. And I like to see him use his jab a little more. Use his jab a little more, double it up a little more, and get a little, you know what I'm saying, get the like just stand there for a minute and let the combinations go off on the inside. But then again, he's fighting Benavidez. I mean, against a smaller guy, he probably can do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, Benavidez is a big guy. He's a freak of nature. I mean, like, you know what I mean? I mean, like, I feel like the coach said he did the best that he could do. And, you know, it's all good. It's dope. Big shout out to Caleb Plant. He's a soldier.
Absolutely. So, you know, you talking about the rematch, I smile because
what happened to our crazy guy then? You didn't block him, right? Don't block him because we're gonna bring him up. You didn't. Some guy in the comment, he was so crazy.